Thomas Paine, The Sopranos, and George Foreman are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is January 10th, 2023. It still seems weird saying that. It is the 10th day of the year and the 355th day of 2023. You know, it's probably going to be June before I'm comfortable saying 2023. It is the second Tuesday in the second week and the 21st day of winter. You got 69 days left until spring. Today is League of Nations Day. League of Nations Day is observed on January 10th annually. It came into effect this day in the year 1920, after being approved by 42 nations the previous year. The goal of this now defunct international organization was to maintain world peace and promote international cooperation. Its other priorities were disarmament and averting war through collective security, resolving international conflicts through diplomacy and negotiation. They also had a thing in there about enhancing global welfare. Even though the organization ceased operations in the 1940s, it's what really got the United Nations rolling. During World War II, the League of Nations failed to accomplish its goals. Many members left and turned to the traditional system of defense alliances and power blocks. All right, let's see what else January 10th has given us. 1776, the American Revolution. Thomas Paine publishes his pamphlet, Common Sense. Thomas Paine was an English writer living in the United States and pretty much the first guy to go viral in what would later become the United States. Thomas Paine landed in the United States in 1774, 2 years before the American Revolution. He's in Philadelphia and working for the Pennsylvania Magazine as an editor. The magazine had been talking about rising tensions between Great Britain and the colonies. He had written a few pamphlets and essays on political subjects in the past and was finally pushed over the edge by the battles of Lexington and Concord. That was in 1775, and he started working on his pamphlet. And on January 10th, 1776, Common Sense was in the hands of colonists. In the pamphlet, he said this was going to offer nothing more than simple facts, plain arguments, and common sense. This was filled with ideas on why the colonies should break away from Great Britain. And he kind of laid down how the United States should become a country. He described as a small community, maybe on an island, that had a few people in the beginning, and it was direct democracy. Everyone would meet in like a town hall and vote on things. And as the community got bigger, they would have to elect representatives to represent them in the government. That's sort of exactly what we did. One of the main ideas of this was, why does a king have power if the people didn't elect him? Sort of like, isn't he just another human being like the rest of us? Who gave him the right to rule over us? He railed about taxes and how we should boycott British goods, and he said the time for negotiation and talk was over. I quote, "The blood of the slain and the weeping voice of nature cries. 'Tis time to part." In other words, thanks, Great Britain. It's been a great relationship, but I think we need to break up. Now, keep in mind, this is back before we had mass printing presses, big giant warehouses that just pumped out books or newspapers. In 3 months, Common Sense sold 120,000 copies. By the end of the Revolutionary War, that was about 500,000. After we won the Revolutionary War, he continued his thoughts on government and sort of became a pain in the butt for all the people that were running the colonies and the future United States of America. It is said only 6 people attended his funeral when he finally died on June 8th, 1809. 1901, New York Automobile Club of America installs signs on major highways. 1920, the Treaty of Versailles takes effect, officially ending World War I for all combatant nations except the United States. 1980, the New England Journal of Medicine publishes the letter Addiction in Rare Patients Treated with Narcotics, which is later misused to downplay the general risk of addiction to opioids. 1984, Holy See, the United States relations. The United States and Holy See, Vatican City, reestablished full diplomatic relations after almost 117 years, overturning the United States Congress's 1867 ban on public funding for such a diplomatic envoy. 1990, Time Warner is formed by the merger of Time Incorporated and Warner Communications. Premiered on January 10th, 1999, The Sopranos. 21-time Emmy Award-winning show about a New Jersey mob boss. The show was created by David Chase. The show ran for 6 seasons and ran for 86 episodes. The series had 5 Golden Globe Awards during its run. Just an excellent show all around. I didn't like the ending. They kind of left it hanging there. I'm sure they had planned on doing a movie to kind of finish it off like they did, because it's an HBO show. They did that with Deadwood, Sex and the City, I think a couple other shows, where they finished the series kind of at a cliffhanger and then came out with a movie a few years later. I think they had plans to do that, like 10 years after the series ended. Sadly, James Gandolfini, who played Tony Soprano, died in 2013. They did have a movie come out in 2021 called The Many Saints of Newark, but that was kind of like this flashback thing to the early days of this mob family. But yeah, I love The Sopranos. Still watch it to this day. If you ever have a hard time sleeping, watch something you've seen many times before, and because then you're not expecting any surprises or anything like that, and your attention doesn't have to be completely on the show. I do that with The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and The Sopranos. A lot of other people just read a book. I just like to watch a show. Born on January 10th, 1949, George Foreman, 2-time heavyweight boxing champion who compiled 76 wins, 68 by knockout during his legendary career. He won a gold medal as a heavyweight at the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. He quit boxing, became a minister, and kind of dropped out of the limelight for many years. Then he came back to box again. Since his popularity was up, he kind of got all these brand deals. One of them was a cooking grill that you just plug in called the George Foreman Grill. Everyone remembers that. It netted him almost $1 billion. Died on January 10th, 1917, Buffalo Bill Cody, American legend and showman whose Wild West show glorified the American frontier. He was said to have earned the nickname by killing 4,000 buffalo, but many historians say that's just like folklore. His show featured the legendary Annie Oakley. From his creation of the Wild West show, he is considered one of the first global celebrities. In 1883 in Nebraska, he founded Buffalo Bill's Wild West, which was a show that resembled a circus, and it toured nationally. A lot of people confuse him with Wild Bill Hickok. There's a lot of similarities. Obviously, they were back in the day. They got these weird names, both named Bill. Wild Bill Hickok hung out with Calamity Jane, and Buffalo Bill Cody had Annie Oakley on his show. They're two different people. As an example, Wild Bill Hickok was shot and killed in Deadwood, South Dakota while playing poker, and Buffalo Bill Cody died on January 10th, 1917 while visiting his sister in Denver. He died of kidney failure. He was 70 years old. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.